This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
This
Just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Stephanie Jones, fresh off her trip from the mountainous region of Thailand.
I literally did just get back from Zimbabwe like 2 days ago, though.
Oh, really?
No, I'm joking.
Oh, I was like,
so
man, I wish I would have said
easy.
Zimbabwe.
It's so easy. I wish I had, but no.
I forgot of the country.
You
were
live a good
lost.
life when somebody can say that jokingly, you believe them.
Yeah.
Oh, of course you did. Well, did anyone not believe that?
No, I definitely.
For sure
did.
thought
Okay,
she was
maybe
there.
it was a bad joke on my
No,
part,
it was
sorry.
good. You played right into it. Well, good to have you here, Stephanie
Thank
Jones.
you. Nice to be here.
All right, let's get into it, guys. Meg Ryan is making a rom-com comeback. She's starring in her first romantic comedy in 14 years, this time with David Duchovny. It's called What Happens Later. Let's watch.
When people break up, there's the thing that they tell each other, and then there's the truth that you never told me.
I was in love with you, and I couldn't turn that on and off like a switch.
I know.
Nighttime slows, raindrops splash rainbows.
Have you ever wondered what if?
Perhaps someone you know.
This facility will power down to essential function only.
Come on! Is that a thing?
Oh, it's a thing.
A little 80s nostalgia in there.
I am loving it.
Meg was known as the rom-com queen in the late 80s and 90s, of course, with hits like When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, and You've Got Mail with Tom Hanks. This one is about two ex-lovers who get stranded at an airport together and obviously spark up that old.
Tori was like pulling all kinds of faces.
What's
I'm
up?
over here so excited.
And the
First of
80s
all-
kind of beats.
First of all, we've seen this plot a million times. The airport shut down with two exes. Like the Julia Roberts one and George Clooney that just came out.
You mean the one that made $100 million?
Yeah, that one.
160 of them.
No, so
Yeah.
it cost 60 million to make it, made 167.
Okay, so it's really good.
107 in gross.
I find unless it's so well written, like Rob Reiner, When Harry Met Sally, well written, I'm out. This is just a sad, tired attempt of the same formula over again. With the same
Okay, so in America, everyone thinks Friends is like the best thing ever. That's like the most dull, boring experience of my entire existence. Yet you all watch it on repeat, and
Does
people.
anyone have anything positive to say?
I strangely do.
Then you're like saying this is bad. It's new. It's fresh. It's fabulous actors.
Right.
It's fun. Like the soundtrack alone, I was dancing in my
Yeah, that was an
seat.
80s throwback.
It's like Meg
fabulous.
Ryan not wearing a purse, wearing an oversized shirt dress again.
She looks great.
With her pouty little.
I
don't
think
know.
she looks great.
I don't know.
Al, do you have any joy in your life?
I think I'm Team Steph on this one. I think look, rom-coms are there for an hour and a half to make you
Yeah,
feel good
bit of
about life.
zoning out.
I don't know, Tor, if
It's a rom-com.
if people
Right, is it going to be
It's like
funny?
Schindler's List.
I know it's not going to be funny. It's going to be used and tired. Did any of you go see the Julia Roberts movie?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yes. Although my fiance hated it, and he was like literally scratching his eyes out. He's like, I must love you so much to put myself through over an hour of this awful thing. But also I watched like the J-Lo rom-com, where she was like Mission Impossible in a wedding dress.
I'm just not a rom-com.
You know what? I just like it because I don't have to think too much. I can zone out from whatever is going on. Some lovely familiar faces, and it just makes you feel good. You know it's going to end in a nice ending, and I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting a happy ending.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
it's a lifetime Christmas movie. You know what you're getting. You know what I mean? It's a
Exactly.
rom-com, familiar faces, like you said, good soundtrack. Put it out there, make
Bit of
100 mil.
happiness
I
never
think some
killed
people
anyone.
do watch for that.
Yeah.
I think every
Yes.
movie you cannot be like, this is the Matrix where if I miss one thing, I don't know who that guy is, why is she mad at him, how can he fly now? I think some people are just like, it's in an airport.
Yeah.
That's great.
Literally, I went to see Oppenheimer, fabulous movie. If you've not watched it, you guys, you have to go. But I couldn't stop thinking for days, and it literally destroyed my brain thinking about how much technology we have. Are we all going to die at the click of a button? Like, it sent me into a whole other world, literally. Whereas this, I know I'm going to watch it, have a cup of tea, go to sleep, and I'm happy.
I like it. I like it. You know what's sending me into another world? This new trend that performers are doing. I don't know. I don't like it. Let me get to this story. Katy Perry has become the latest performer to stop her show to address something that happened in the crowd. This time she noticed a little boy holding his hands over his ears to block. Oh, by the way, he had a puppy too.
He didn't have a puppy.
To block the
That's
loud music.
coming.
Let's watch. Yeah.
This little boy here, he's with his family with all the glitter. He says, hi, Mommy. Hi, my little angel. Hi, yes, you've been holding your ears the whole time. How old is your little baby? He's 5? Okay, Patrick, can you find that little baby some earmuffs? Because I want him to be able to enjoy the show.
Oh, please.
She was.
Get real.
What do you mean? She was real. She stopped the performance.
It's not real. Listen, I'm on a clock here. I got kids at home. Enough with the fake earmuffs and things like that. Pete, whatever your name is, beat it.
Yeah.
I'm over this addressing the crowd. Entertain me and go home. Go back to your
Steph, I want to hear your thoughts.
No,
Sorry,
you know what?
that was it. Mine in a nutshell.
No, I feel since the Ashra World disaster, which was a major disaster, we have seen celebrities of all genres overly stepping up. Now, some of it I think is sincere, but I think a lot of it is fear of being cancelled, or also to get a viral moment where they look as good as good can be.
I agree with that.
And like, yes, is there a 5-year-old that needs some earmuffs? Absolutely. But I mean, she didn't have to stop the show and make a live announcement. In one of her costume changes, she could just say, Section A, there's a little baby, can you do something?
Right.
And then like send them over in private, which would be lovely.
The poor dancers were like this. They were like stuck.
But you know what? I think the dancers were symbolic of what happened to the show. You're at a concert. You have paid a significant amount of money. You are a fan of this person. You want to hear your favorite songs. You're rocking out with your partner or your friends or your spouse. And now the show's at a dead halt because we got to get some earmuffs from the back. And next show, somebody will be too drunk. And the next show, somebody's standing up and you're yelling at the security guard. I didn't pay to see this.
It's a little bit of a
This isn't family court,
signal, right?
I don't care. Do your show. I'm going to stand here and then I'm going to leave. That's the agreement we had. I didn't come to see you, just lord over the crowd like Thor and just make sure everybody's okay.
Didn't you think too, Al, and you guys, that Adele did it like yesterday,
Yeah, she
and now
did.
Katy Perry. Katy Perry was like, "Oh, Adele did it. I got to do it." So I agree with all of you. But I do think Astro World showed that concerts might not be the most prepared places. But
it's like everything. Everyone's so PC. Everyone's so nice, and no one dare speak out of line. No one dare. You got to stop the concert. Everyone's got to wait while we sort out this little problem.
A concert where most people are intoxicated, especially when they're young.
Thousands of people. And I mean, let's be honest, no one did this before.
Never.
No one.
Ever since the Ashra World sham, which I called out at the time was a sham, blaming it on Travis Scott, he doesn't have anything to do with like capacity. What is this, brown paper tickets? That's not on him at all.
It's difficult.
There's been a ton of situations where people have been killed at concerts, and it has nothing to do with the performer. It's the venue. It's the fire marshal. That's their job.
I slightly disagree with you on that.
Travis Scott's supposed to be counting heads?
Well, not counting heads, but when he saw people suffocating and they're screaming, "Help, help, help," I felt he has some responsibility to shut down the show and say,
How do you know what he can hear?
They said literally they were mouthing, and he took his mic away and listened. There's a little gray area on Astro World.
I feel like though as well, comparing obviously that, which was a hideous, awful disaster, to a baby needing earmuffs. We are like light years away from one another, right?
Yes, and somebody standing up at a concert. Remember those people taking pictures at the concert? Everybody's just a free-for-all now, so that's what you're going to get.
I don't like it. All right, we got time for this story. Michael Jackson would have turned 65 years old this week. The king of pop tragically died in 2009, but some now have AI-generated images showing the world what he might look like today. Breaking news. This image of Michael was produced by an AI system. But some people online thought it looked haggard and scary.
I mean, he looked haggard and scary before, let's be honest.
No, but that's not right.
Other AI images look more like Michael in his heyday with his long hair and sunglasses. Michael was only 50 when he died from a heart attack caused by prescription pills.
It looks like he belongs in Kiss there.
Right. Yeah. See, the thing is, the reason we have different images, there's an app, I think I showed you, Jeff. You can take that image and push like scary or sporty.
Like a style or genre.
Yes. And so like that first one was definitely like horror.
Yeah.
And I mean, because it was
you got to be careful with that stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the other three looked like it
looked really. I mean, I thought the first one also looked kind of real. I mean, I thought it looked scary before anyway.
I think that one had that like mean features in it.
He did look a bit unhappy.
What's up with Michael Jackson? Is he back now? It's okay to talk about Michael Jackson?
I was
every time. I don't
about
know.
that.
You know I don't know where. Like
I don't know.
At first, we couldn't listen to his song in anywhere.
Like
but
if you're in the car, if you're in the
on
car on the radio and a Michael Jackson song comes on, do you change it?
But does it come on?
On 105 it does. So,
really?
Yeah, and I don't know what to do. I'm like driving and I'm like, oh, I love Man in the Mirror, and then I'm like, ugh. and I just don't know what to do.
I feel
What
like
do you think
almost
you watch a
guilty
show
if you
when they're
do
talking
listen.
about it?
I feel guilty if I do listen, like if anyone else was there,
Right.
other than literally my fiance, I'd be embarrassed
Can I
that they
say
know
something?
that.
I'll say something that you just sparked a weird thought, Steph. I was a Michael Jackson fan, and
Yeah.
and PYT Pretty Young Thing came on, and I was like,
Oh, really?
What is that about?
Oh.
You know, I never thought about that. Like,
It's just
that's a
weird in this culture. You know what I mean? How
It's weird.
We don't know what to do.
do we have comebacks now?
I don't know.
I don't know if
people
Michael
canceled
Jackson
forever?
can come back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Obviously he is. Obviously.
And he can't represent himself, so it's like odd.
But maybe that's helping him. I think
Right.
R. Kelly did some things that further buried him. I think Michael, because he
Well, he
can't
got
speak for
convicted.
himself, it just stayed there.
Yeah.
Interesting. Coming up on DBL, our very funny interview with Adam Rippon and his out-of-this-world win on the show Stars on Mars. And Prince Harry is talking about the trauma of his mother's death in a new
course he is.
Netflix documentary.
Course
Steph,
he
we're going to
is.
talk all about your favorite Prince.
I can't
Oh
wait.
yeah, riveting.
So traumatized by Diana's death.
That
and
was the
also
Michael debate
the
too.
war.
No.
Oh, yeah, I can bring
Okay,
that.
I thought that was
But there's
interesting.
a
No, we didn't
famous
really have
scene
time to
where
get to
he's
Donnie
giving
because we
the
only had
interview with
less than
BBC
2
and
minutes.
then-
Oh, yeah, we wanted to.
Yeah.
Where some Michael's just
You'll I know that clip was.
Right.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see it going there with Michael, but yeah, it's a weird thing with where we are
So you
with him.
listen to Pretty Young Thing and you're hearing it with new ears basically now.
I'm here. It was one of my all-time favorite Michael Jackson songs. PYT. Like, I always wonder. Like, there's a song by the Jackson 5 I really like called Somewhere Hotel. Rob, do you know the Jackson 5 catalog at all? What's the? I'll find it. But how do you feel about Michael? How do you
It's
feel
hard because
when
I
it
do
comes on
like
in the
some
car?
of I do like some of his music. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. I don't go out of my way ever to play it, and if it comes on the radio, it's like weird. I do feel a bit bad. But like if anyone else was there, would I change the channel? Yes. But if it was just me in the car by myself, I might listen, and that makes me feel like bad for saying that. I'll be honest. It's weird. But some of his songs like Dirty Diana, I love it. Can't lie.
Yeah, the song is "Show You the Way to Go."
no, not Wade Robson. No.
Yeah.
That guy's the choreography.
Like, see, like it's like also like with the musical, the Broadway musical. So can you still go to that without feeling bad? Like the fact, but that like gives people loads of jobs. It's playing his whole repertoire of music. Let's be honest, it sold millions and millions and millions of records. People like the music,
And
but
it's
then
not
it's
even
like
just they
separating
like
the
it;
art
it's
from the
ingrained in their
person.
like memories. And like, I danced at my wedding to that song. And that was the last time I saw my grandparents dance together. It's like it's like to listen to that and feel bad. I think that's why it was hard for people to let go of R. Kelly. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Steph. I mean, DBL Nation.
I'm chit-chatting to Al.
Well, I want you to get on this story. Prince Harry surprised fans at a movie theater outside San Diego. So the Prince showed up to a special screening of his new Netflix docu-series, Heart of Invictus, which is about the Olympic-style games for wounded soldiers that Harry founded. Good thing, right?
That's nice.
It is.
Shout out.
I'll give
These
him that.
fans were left stunned as Harry addressed the crowd before the show, who said he was every bit as gracious in person as in the media.
What if somebody just goes down in front?
Sit down, Ginger.
In the doc, Harry says he didn't have a support system to help him deal with the trauma of his mother's death, so he got real.
As he keeps apparently doing.
Sir, he served in Afghanistan as well. He says he only considered therapy after lying on the floor in a fetal position, wishing he had not been with Meghan. I'm sorry, wishing he had dealt with some of the stuff before.
Wow,
What,
look
listen,
at the
I
wheels
think
coming off.
I just threw that in.
No, I get it, but I think
What do you think listen, people are a little, I'm speaking generally, people are a little tired of the
A
Harry
little.
stories.
I mean, I feel like I've taken a box of sleeping pills. Jeez.
So you're not even, what's the pulse like in
Knock
England?
me out.
Are they over it?
Sorry, darling.
Like, what's it like in England? Are
Oh,
people over
he's
his story?
outcast. He's done. Like,
done?
bye. No one wants to know.
Could he come back if he wanted to?
I think he's burned that bridge a long time ago.
Yeah,
Wow.
Do you think Meghan has something to do with it, or just him telling the same story?
I do think it's a combination. I don't think it's just Meghan. I don't think it's just Harry. I think it is the colossal whirlwind that they have created that never seems to be ending.
That's a good way of saying it.
I do think when they first came out and they told their story, it was very eloquent. People were interested, but now it is very much a scratched and broken record. We are over it. Go deal with it. The privacy that you wanted, the life you wanted, where is it? Non-existent.
I will
come
say,
on.
and I agree completely that they made a colossal whirl. I think that was a beautiful way of saying it. But I have to say, there's a clip here of Harry in the middle of an interview, and he's, gets called, and I think we have it. And he literally
was being
runs.
filmed.
I don't want to forget that he served in Afghanistan and did real work. And this is, if he's wanting to make a comeback, the Invictus Games is where he has a lot of well wishes because he founded that. So it's a good way to come back, don't you?
No, again, yes, the Invictus Games is a fantastic event which supports many veterans, wounded soldiers, people that have fought for countries that deserve it.
Right.
There is no discrediting that and what he has done, absolutely not. But let's not forget, he's been dropped from Netflix and he needs to get those numbers back up because people are not interested, and it was hosted by Netflix, and he has contractual expectations that he's meant to fulfill, or he will be fined or lose money from. So let's not just think it's like so good and glorious all the time.
There's another
but
agenda.
It is a wonderful thing that he has done and created. But you didn't have to bring all his trauma into it. It's meant to be about other people that have lost limbs and lives and families. But let's not forget his ever.
I'm not saying anything after
Meeting's
that.
adjourned. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Never forget Harry.
Several verified viewers have reached out to us about this ad they've seen recently on TV.
Senate Bill 1838 would enact harmful credit card routing mandates that would end credit card rewards as we know it.
But is that true? Is Congress considering a bill that would end credit card rewards? Let's verify. Our sources are the text of Senate Bill 1838 and various trade groups lobbying for and against the bill, including the Merchants Payments Coalition and the Electronic Payments Coalition. When you buy something with a credit card at a store, no matter who your bank is, most of the time the transaction is processed by either Visa or MasterCard. They charge the store a fee for that processing. This new bill is titled the Credit Card Competition Act, and the stated aim is to help those stores pay less in fees. To do that, it would require that banks accept at least one processor for their cards other than Visa and MasterCard. Then the stores would have a choice of who they want to process with, creating more competition and potentially lowering costs for the businesses. Many business groups are strongly in favor of the proposal, saying processing costs have skyrocketed in recent years. But the companies that manage transactions are strongly opposed and have funded ads like the one we showed you earlier. They say forcing more processing options could lead to stores using less secure networks. And they say that the lost fees will eventually be passed on to consumers via higher interest rates or cutbacks on rewards. But the bill wouldn't in any way mandate such cutbacks. In fact, rewards are not mentioned, even tangentially, anywhere in the bill. So we can verify, no, Congress is not considering a bill to end credit card rewards. If the bill were to pass, it's unclear how that might eventually affect consumers. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
I can't believe it.
God, no!
The world needs to hear someone's message.
Adam, insert your message for broadcast to Earth.
Let's go, Adam!
Go, Adam. Welcome back. Adam Rippon was crowned the brightest star in the galaxy after winning Fox's Stars on Mars. And earlier, we spoke to him about surviving on Mars and confronting Lance Armstrong about his trans athlete comments. Check it out.
Adam, congratulations!
Wow, thank you guys so much. It feels so good to be the brightest star in the whole entire universe.
Yes!
All right, we got to get into it. Like celebrities such as Ariel Winter and Lance Armstrong obviously competed against you. So I have to ask, which one of your castmates would you want with you if you actually had to survive on Mars, and why?
First of all, I want you to take a good look at me you know, let's be honest, if I'm going to Mars, it's over for me. That's the end. I wouldn't survive. If the opportunity to ever go to Mars was a real opportunity, I know the U.S. government isn't looking at me. So I can't even elaborate. I can't even elaborate on my answer because I think we all get it, right? It's sort of like we just you feel it. You feel like I'm not going.
If you're not up there, I don't want to be up there.
That's right. I love speaking with you, and I actually want to take it a little deeper here. It seems like you had, no, mostly just Adam, actually. It seems like you had a lot of fun, but things got a little uncomfortable, and I want to just put it out on the table. When Lance Armstrong shared his divisive views on trans athletes. And in the episode, we don't get to see you talk to Lance about the topic, which you did. Do you wish, Adam, your conversation had made that show? What did you and Lance talk about, if you're comfortable sharing?
Well, one, I think the biggest thing was that, we're filming a show where we pretend that we're on Mars. So I think that, the whole context of the show is like, let's all have fun. Mm-hmm. I think the conversation of trans athletes in sports is a good conversation and an important conversation that we should have. Do I think Lance Armstrong, famous cheater, worrying about an unfair advantage in sports, is the craziest person to talk about this? Yes, I do think that, and I don't think that that's a hot take. Yeah. I think that, I believe that, if you want all of this research and you want more information on what it's like to have trans athletes involved in sports, trans athletes need to be accepted in the sports community so that you can get that research. And, I know what sports has brought to me and all of the tools that it's brought into my life. And I feel like everybody should be afforded that opportunity.
Wow, that's a beautiful take. Yeah.
But also, like being a trans athlete and specifically being a trans woman in sports, it's not as simple as somebody going, I'm a woman, and they compete in the women's field. It's a very long, drawn out, detailed process, years long, before someone is even maybe given the opportunity to compete. So it's not as simple or as nuanced. And this was the kind of conversation that I was having with Lance. In the show, it lasts maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but in reality, it's, it took a little bit, close to an hour, everybody kind of going back and forth. So it's not that nuanced.
Yes.
There's a lot of detail into it.
You're right. The IOC is very strict about those rules and regulations. Okay, so I got to switch gears. We have about 30 seconds left. We've got a fun question for you. If you were really sent to Mars and could only take 3 things with you, what would you take?
I would take my phone. Obviously, I'm hoping there's signal. I would take moisturizer. I do think it's dry. And I would take McDonald's because that would be my last meal because I'm about to die if I'm going to Mars.
Yes! Mickey D's, baby.
Adam, it was so much fun having you on DBL today. Congrats on your Stars on Mars win. So great to see you. We'll be right back.
Mazel tov, Adam.
Hurricanes can bring significant rainfall and cause damaging storm surges, which floods low-lying communities. While most people have traditional renters or homeowners insurance, some may find they might not have coverage to rebuild after a flood. So, let's verify. Do homeowners and renters insurance policies typically cover flood damage from hurricanes? Our sources are the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Insurance Information Institute, Federal Emergency Management Agency, and insurance companies Allstate and Amica. Homeowners insurance is a way to repair or rebuild your home after something bad happens. Homeowners insurance, along with renters, also helps cover the cost to replace your belongings. Typically, when you buy a policy, the insurance companies will give you a detailed list of events that they cover, or tell you you're covered for all events except those they specifically exclude. All of our sources say standard homeowners and renters policies typically exclude coverage for flooding. Allstate says this includes flooding brought on by or as a result of a hurricane. So, no, homeowners and renters insurance policies do not typically cover flood damage from hurricanes. Instead, you can purchase separate flood insurance from a private company or a policy that's backed by FEMA's National Flood Insurance Program. These policies usually require you to purchase them at least 30 days before they take effect. If you didn't buy coverage ahead of time, FEMA also offers some assistance to people who live in areas that receive a presidential disaster declaration. However, Florida's emergency management warns the average payout to Florida residents from FEMA is usually only about $5,000, which may not be enough for repairs. This compares to claims filed by people with separate flood insurance who receive an average of $29,000. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis. You already know hurricanes are rated on a scale from 1 to 5 based on their wind speed. But have you heard about the Waffle House Index to gauge the severity of a storm? Waffle House is known for serving breakfast around the clock, even during serious weather conditions, so locals say it's a big deal when one decides to close. A former director of the Federal Emergency Management Agency once said he looked at whether a Waffle House is open to get an initial sense of a community's needs in an emergency. Some people have claimed this is part of FEMA's official disaster policy. So, let's verify. Our sources are Waffle House and FEMA. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans, killing nearly 1,400 people. Many businesses, including Waffle House, were forced to close for an extended period of time. After the storm, the restaurant chain developed a disaster plan. They invested in generators and mobile command centers to help their locations stay open or quickly reopen after a storm, and they're often one of the last places to close before a hurricane hits. A now deleted FEMA blog post from 2011 says the agency used Waffle House as an unofficial measure of a disaster. Then FEMA Director Craig Fugit was quoted in a Waffle House blog saying, "If you get there and the Waffle House is closed, that's really bad." But FEMA tells Verify when a disaster strikes, it uses its own metrics to gauge the needs of a community, including access to medicine, food, and communications, not Waffle House. So, no, the Waffle House Index is not an official FEMA policy. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back. Staying active can be difficult as we age, but we've got some tips to help keep you moving. It's time for some joint and muscle support brought to you by Omega XL. First, avoid comparisons. Don't try to compete with your 20-year-old self. Set real goals for where you are now. Second, listen to your body. When you have pain, deal with it. Treat it and rest. Lastly, make sleep a priority. Sleep deprivation can impair your body's function. Omega XL has improved the lives of millions of consumers. Supported by 30 years of clinical research, Omega XL's powerful and proven benefits have transformed the lives of athletes, celebrities, and dedicated daily users. Call 800-725-2612 or visit OmegaXL.com for more information. I felt like a newscaster there. We're talking about something completely different. I'm like, storm in Washington is sweeping through.
What will kill you for dinner? Coming up at 11.
All right, let's see you guys tomorrow.